All right, so you want to unlock the secrets to success, like billionaire-level success.
Yeah, exactly. It's a question that fascinates a lot of people.
Totally. There's tons of books and articles promising to reveal the magic formula.
Right. But how much of it's hype? How much is actually useful? Well, for this deep dive, we took a close look at the Billionaire Blueprint, 7 Habits to Ultimate Success.
That's right, we wanted to see, are these just catchy buzzwords, or is there real wisdom we can all learn from?
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's get to it.
The book frames these habits as a code, like a set of principles that can lead to these incredible results, but not just for billionaires. For, well, anyone, really.
Exactly. It's about understanding the mindset, the action that drive that kind of extraordinary success.
Okay, so let's decode. Habit number 1 is developing a growth mindset. I feel like we hear about this a lot these days, but what was interesting to me is how this book approaches it.
Yeah, it kind of goes deeper than just embrace failure, you know? It really emphasizes seeking out challenges as a way to accelerate your growth. Like Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, she had tons of setbacks early in her career, like she was even demoted from a news anchor position, but she took every setback as a chance to learn, to get better. And look at her now.
Yeah, she's like the queen of media. So it's not just about bouncing back from failure. It's about putting yourself in situations that make you grow.
Yeah, it's about recognizing when you're getting too comfortable. Like, are you avoiding certain tasks because they feel intimidating? Maybe that's actually a sign you should try them. Push yourself a little.
That's a really good point. I like that. Okay, habit number 2 is building a strong network. The book mentions this thing called the OLSP system, and I gotta be honest, I was a little confused. Like, what is that?
Right. It sounds kind of mysterious, doesn't it? The book doesn't give a straight-up definition, but it keeps coming up in the context of, building these high-impact relationships.
So not just collecting business cards at some random networking event.
No, definitely not. It seems to be about, and this is just based on the clues we get, something like optimize, leverage, strategic partnerships. So it's about being deliberate.
So you're choosing relationships that can really move you forward.
Exactly. Finding people who complement your strengths, who can open doors you couldn't on your own.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So that ties in really well with the next habit, setting clear goals.
Yes, goal setting is crucial.
We've all heard about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, all that. But this book, it takes it up a notch, talking about quantum goals. So what's the difference?
So quantum goals, they're not just specific and measurable, they're audacious, like really ambitious, almost impossible at first glance. Think Elon Musk and wanting to colonize Mars.
Right, that's definitely a quantum goal.
Exactly. The idea is that by setting these really big goals that stretch you, you tap into this different level of motivation and creativity. You kind of force yourself to think bigger.
That makes sense, but how do you even start with a goal like that? It's kind of overwhelming, right?
Right, and the book talks about that. It's about breaking these huge goals down into smaller, more manageable steps. You make a roadmap, so it feels achievable, but you still have that big vision in mind.
So it's about the journey, not just the destination.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And that kind of leads into the next habit, which is about taking calculated risks. And I know you had some thoughts on this one.
I do. The book, it really stresses calculated risks, which makes sense. But it also made me wonder, like, isn't there also an element of blind faith involved in achieving this massive success?
That's a really interesting point.
Like Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic, that was a huge risk. How do you balance that with this idea of only taking calculated risks?
Well, I think what the book is saying is that even those big leaps, those audacious moves, they're usually based on a lot of research, a lot of planning. You understand the risks involved. So billionaires, yeah, they take risks, but they're not just blindly jumping into things.
Right, so before taking a big leap, you need to assess what you could potentially lose.
Exactly, and have a plan for if things don't go perfectly.
And even if it doesn't work out, you can still learn from it.
Exactly, and that ties back to the growth mindset we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like all these habits, they're kind of connected. They all work together. So we've covered the first 4. What about the last 3?
Yeah, so the book goes on to talk about the importance of continuous learning. Billionaires are always learning new things, soaking up information.
Right, they're not just sitting back and relaxing.
No, they're always trying to get an edge. And then there's perseverance and resilience. Those are super important for overcoming obstacles.
Yeah, we all hear stories about successful people who face tons of rejection before finally making it. It's about not giving up when things get tough.
Absolutely, and the book emphasizes that setbacks and failures, they're not the end. They're just detours on the road to success.
It's about adapting, learning from those mistakes, and keep going. So we've gone through all 7 habits, from the growth mindset to always learning to not giving up. And it seems like these principles, they can apply to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're trying to build a $1 billion business or just achieve your own personal goals.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key takeaways. These are really fundamental principles for success, no matter what you're trying to achieve. It's about understanding the mindset and then taking action.
That's right. And on that note, I want to leave you with something to think about. If you could master just one of these 7 habits, which would you choose? And how do you think it would change your life?
It's a great question to reflect on. Which one really resonates with you? Which one could have the biggest positive impact? Maybe it's developing that growth mindset, or maybe it's focusing on those strategic relationships. It's your journey.
That's right. And hey, maybe this deep dive has inspired you to check out the full Billionaire Blueprint. Who knows what you might discover? Until next time, keep pushing those boundaries.
Definitely. Keep learning, keep growing.